Welcome back, everybody, to the Little Less Fear podcast, the Dr. Lino Show. Today, I would like to welcome Charlene Byars, leading relationship expert, certified empowerment and feminine embodiment coach. Relationships are her specialty. She loves to talk about masculine and feminine polarity, feminine embodiment and romantic relationships, and how past patterns and limiting beliefs can keep women from finding the love they want and the love that they deserve. As a relationship coach and dating expert, she has helped countless women navigate the complexities of modern dating and build fulfilling, lasting relationships. She developed the Aligned Partner Attraction Formula and her chosen program for women wanting to attract high-value men. She believes that love is one of the most important aspects of our lives, and I agree with her. And she is passionate about helping women find the love and connection they desire. Welcome to a Little Less Fear podcast, Charlene.
Well, hello. Hi, Lino. Oh, my goodness. I love that introduction. Thank you so much.
Thank you so much for being on the show. Thank you for your high energy and for your alignment. So this is a motivational podcast.
Yes.
And before we get into it, this is an incredible passion of yours. What brought you to this incredible journey that you're on right now?
Oh, great question, Lino. Here we go. Let's do it. Okay. So what do I do now? So as you mentioned, I help, people, women find their really what I really specialize is in people finding their true partner, their husband, their wife, have that true alignment. And why am I so passionate about this? Right? Because that was me. So let me give you a little bit of a history here about Miss Charlene. So I grew up in a Latin culture. Both of my parents are from Cuba, and I'm actually first generation. And I remember growing up, I never had an opportunity truly to see like two people actually loving each other, having a cool, respectful relationship. I grew up in a Latin community where all I saw was honestly, unfortunately, people fighting, people screaming, people always divorcing, a lot of noise, a lot of loudness, a lot of machismo, a lot of that stuff. And so I was really confused. I was very confused. And then I grew up also with my mother and my stepfather. And my stepfather is not a good person. And so I grew up with my mother and my stepfather, and my actual biological father, who I absolutely adore. My father wasn't your typical father in the sense of like a traditional father. My father was like I always kind of felt like my father was like this gypsy. He was just full of life. He's, just goes by the beat of his own drum. He loves women. And he did. I have like 5 brothers and sisters around the world, but my father is just a very Latino, very, but he was he was fun. He was cool. He was, exciting, but I never even saw him in a really romantic relationship, because every time I saw my father, he was always like, falling in love with a different woman. So I didn't have any guidance, and I really didn't understand truly. And I think this is for the majority of us in general, right? I really didn't understand relationships. I really didn't understand anything. I felt like, this is what I felt like, I felt like I was growing up and I'm in a jungle and now I'm 18 and they're like, okay, bye. And I'm like, oh, shit, what do I do now?
Right.
And so what happened for me is I've always been really fascinated and really longed for connection, a romantic connection with someone that would actually just adore me and I would adore them. But that wasn't happening, Lino. So I was like, what is up? So let's back it up a little more. So now I'm young. I was, I think, 18. I fell in love with my first love. And when I was 16 years old, I fell in love with my first love. He was a little older than me. And he was like 5 years older than me, actually. Or 4. And 3 months, actually, before I graduated high school, I got pregnant. And I got pregnant with my first son. And I was 18 at the time, because I delivered Joshua at 19. So I get pregnant. I'm with this guy. Looking back, talk about no compatibility. He was fine, I'm fine, but we weren't compatible. But I had no idea about that kind of stuff. So, he had blue eyes. He did. He was good looking. He's a baseball player. I'm like, the guy's a good looking guy. He had blue eyes and he's a baseball player. We laughed. So I'm like, that's it. But I didn't realize it, right? Like I didn't realize it. I didn't realize how, things can happen so quickly.
Sure.
That I have a whole story how I got pregnant, but that's another day. Okay. Anyway, but I didn't think I was ever going to get pregnant either because I've, always like, I grew up literally in a Latin culture. They're like, you go meet a guy, you're going to get pregnant. Like I was always afraid that it was weird. Like I felt I was going to get, I felt like a guy touched me, I was going to get pregnant. Yeah. So I was really naive. I was very naive about things. That's what's really frustrating at the time because I was really naive. No one talked to me about anything. They didn't even talk to me about my period, to be honest with you. I had a period and I didn't know what the hell to do. I was like, what is this? They didn't talk. Latinos, they didn't talk. They just blew it off. They don't talk. And if you try to bring something up, they're like, oh, no.
Yeah, it's a big hush. Sweep it under the carpet. Don't talk about that stuff.
Yeah, we don't talk. So I'm like, okay. So anyway, so now, I'm pregnant and we try to do the right thing, which is not the right thing. We get married. Oh, Lordy. We get married. That didn't last. That lasted 1.5 years, maybe, because my ex-husband was like all the men that I knew before. They love the women. And I was really accustomed to men like just being that way. And I did not want to deal with that. Like I was a woman like, no, you're going to be with me. Just be with me. But the men that I grew up with, and then my first husband, that's what happened. Yeah. He was, I guess he was sleeping with everything. It had nothing to do with him and I, Lino. I was young. We were having relations all the time. It was just what it was. So anyway, fast forward. So I'm like, okay, this is not working out. So actually it was a blessing in disguise for me, to be honest with you, because I was so young. I was so naive. I didn't know, I think I'm married. I'm going to stay with the guy, they're going to make this work. But it wasn't working because we didn't have alignment. And so I found that out. I actually, to this day, him and I are friends. We're cool. And he's just like, damn. And I'm like, yeah, that was it for me because, and so I found that out and I left because that I wasn't going to deal with that. No. Okay. So Lino, so now look at me. Now I'm like, okay. So now I'm like, okay, what about love? Well, no more love because now I'm a single mom with a baby. Joshua at the time tenía como 2 years old. Joshua was 2 years old at the time. So I'm single. Now I'm like, oh, okay, here we go. So there wasn't really there for a moment there. There was no, like, I didn't even think of dating or anything like that because I was working 3 jobs.
Wow.
No, I was actually working 3 jobs. I remember I was literally working 3 jobs. Thank God for my mom because I was working in the middle of the nights because I wanted to be with Joshua también. Yeah. And I was like working in factory. I did anything. I just worked. I did anything. So there was no dating for a while. Okay. So let's fast forward. So now I'm single for a couple years. Joshua is like 4. Okay. He's 2 years older. I'm single. Me and Josh have our own place. Everything's fine. So I'm like, okay, maybe it's time. Maybe I'm going to, see. And I was making more money now. So I wasn't working 3 jobs anymore. Things were changing. And so I started dating.
Oh yeah, reality check, huh? On how it's all. Yeah, I can imagine.
It's like, okay, I guess all the men are the same. I don't know because that's all I'm attracted. I get the machismos. I get the guys that
Oh my goodness.
that you know what I mean. That just want to sleep with me. I was like, oh, what is going on? What's going on? Okay, so then fast forward. So then I meet this man, and Joshua ya tenía como 4. And I meet this man, and I don't think I've ever felt like I felt like with this guy. I mean, it hit me like I actually couldn't breathe, to be honest with you. And this was.
What do you mean you couldn't breathe? Like the way that he loved you or the attention he gave you, it was too much or it was beautiful?
Beautiful in the beginning.
Okay, nice.
Yeah. So I fall in love. And he never was married and he didn't have kids and we fall in love and he completely falls in love with Joshua, my son. And I thought, oh my God, this is it. Oh my God. So I was like, this is it. So we're dating and everything's great until like a shift happened. And it was really weird for me because I was like, what's going on? Because I had a guy who was very kind and loving, and all of a sudden, like a shift happened about 2 years after we're dating. He like just really shifted, and the personality became very aggressive and very angry and just really fighting. And I was like, what just happened? Mm-hmm. And so there was a lot of anger coming up, a lot of things coming up. And I guess it had to do with his past, his childhood. Mm-hmm. But he was taking out on me. So I was very confused, and we weren't married yet either. And so then he tells me, which, oh my God, this is the fun. I don't want to make fun of this, but this, again, I was a Latina. We didn't talk. And he's as white as they come. I love him. And he was like, and so, but we didn't talk and we didn't do this. So I remember one time he comes to me, he said, Charlene, I think we need to go to counseling. Lino, I said, what? What is that? No, I actually didn't know what that was. That's how naive I was.
Yeah.
Like, what's that? He said, we got to go and a person's going to talk. I'm like, why? What's wrong?
Sure.
Well, I guess it was wrong because Miss Charlene was this happy freak thing, and he's Mr. Cranky guy. So he was literally trying to change Miss Charlene. Ooh, I was like, oh, okay. Oh, okay. And so I had no idea because I'm young, I'm naive, and I'm crazy in love with this man. And so now I'm going to this counseling, and we're not even married. And I'm so confused during the whole thing, to be honest with you. It really wasn't, we weren't going anywhere. It was just kind of weird because I was like, oh, because he really didn't say anything about me. He was talking about him. So I'm like, why am I in the counseling? And so it was very strange. So
yeah, it's confusing and didn't really make sense.
So let's really fast forward now. So of course I decided this is it. I'm getting married.
Yeah. Yeah. So you decided you're getting married?
Of course. Yeah. Because everything was like, everything was like what I was used to.
Yeah.
So we get married. He asked me to marry him. 23 years later, Leo. Oh my goodness. 23 later, 3 more kids.
Nice.
He doesn't change. It gets worse.
Oh. But did you continue therapy? I mean, how long did you go to therapy?
10 years. Wasted my life.
Oh my goodness. And so
I call it the NIP. I call it the NIP.
What does that stand for?
The nail in the coffin.
Oh my goodness.
Yeah. Because I was like, it made no sense. You have to understand, like, counseling and therapy is amazing, but it has to be the true alignment. It has to be someone that can move you forward. Traditional type of marriage counseling and stuff, it just kept you stuck. Right. I don't believe in it at all. Mm-hmm. And it just kept it literally, I remember being in there and we were just like complaining back and forth. We weren't moving forward, Lito. I was like, what is going on? It was a lot of like just back and forth. Well, how you feel?
So for 10 years, you were in this type of therapy where it was just back and forth, and nothing was being resolved, and nothing was moving forward, and nothing was progressing.
No. And he was getting more aggressive, more angry, more just, I call him Grumpalumpicus. And I'm so grumpy. But the reality is things got really not good. And that energy, and when you're with someone, seriously, and when you're with someone and you are trying to show up like truly the best you can and be, what you need, what's going on. I was very aware of him. I was very aware of things. It takes 2 people to have a relationship. Obviously, there was something off with me that wasn't working for him, Mm-hmm. So I don't blame all him because I'm a completely different woman now than I was then. I was very spicier then. I was really like, I didn't have a lot of patience then. Mm-hmm. I really didn't have the skills that I have now. So it was rough. It was tough. And it finally got to the point I decided, you know what, I can't do it anymore. Like this is exhausting. And for a woman to leave her husband after 23 years, mm-hmm. you can only imagine that was the biggest and I had 4 kids, mm-hmm. hardest decision I ever made, but I had to do it because it wasn't changing and I'm not getting any younger. And I realized, wow, is this really it? Because let me say something, like who you decide to be with in a romantic relationship and be married to, that is truly the biggest decision you're ever going to make. Because that decision alone, 100%, like hear me out, everyone. Like seriously, that decision alone will determine your overall happiness. Because if you're with a person that is negative, has not good energy, that's grumpy, that just doesn't want to look inwards, doesn't want to take care of their shit, to be honest with you, right? They're gonna that energy is gonna go on you.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be a reflection. Yeah,
it's 100%. That energy is gonna be going on you. You're gonna be like living. You can't as a human being try to be this happy, great person when you're sleeping with a person that is not happy with you and happy not with life. It just doesn't work. It's like,
or even happy with themselves in general.
Yeah, and you can't. And what I know for sure, is you actually can't change another human being. No, and you know what I know too, Leo? People only change if they want to.
Right.
That's it.
So true.
So people think, oh, they should change or this, but that's bullshit.
Right.
People only change it. People are like, why do I need to change? I am who I am.
Right.
You only change if you want to. And I always tell people, I hope they want to change, because change is such a beautiful thing. Because change, you know what change is? Change is actually growth. Change is actually maturity. Change is actually slowing down. Change is not having, you know what I mean? Change is not just having this, you already think you know what's going on. No, you don't know shit. You don't know shit yet. You gotta, you know what I mean? You gotta slow down. So anyway, that's what happened. So I left this guy. Okay. And not only did I leave my ex-husband, I'm a mother of 4 kids. I live here we make a good living. Mm-hmm. And he was the one that made the money. You know what I mean? I made money, but he was not compared to him. Mm-hmm. I have babies and shit, I have kids. I got a lot going on too. So what happened was I had to, obviously for me to leave him, what was very important to me as a woman, I was like, well, gosh, shit, if I'm going to leave him, I'm not going to be counting. I need to be on my own 2 feet. I need to stay in the same area. I live in a really nice area, Leo. I live in Scottsdale, Arizona. It's not cheap here. So I was like, I can't leave the guy and like change my children's lifestyle. Like, you know what I mean? We're going to good school. Sure. So there was a lot involved here. Like it was big time. And I wanted to keep my children in the same neighborhood. I wanted to keep a house, the whole thing. So I was like, oh, shoot. So I went out. So let me tell you what I did, which I don't recommend this, but this is just my story.
Okay.
Took me 6 years. I had to have a plan. I had a plan. The plan took me 6 years. I had a 5-year plan, but it took me 6 because I was not going to leave that marriage unless I could stand on my own 2 feet and make the kind of money that he was making, period.
And so that it took you 6 years to make the kind of money that he was making.
To leave.
But you got there.
I did. Yeah. So I left. You bring me on another time, I'll tell you that was a whole.
So then you left after you wanted the divorce and you waited 6 years to get yourself.
No, I didn't tell him anything. No. He's always known how I've been feeling for years. I always ask him because that's what I learned. All you can do is ask your person. You can do is say, hey, what you're doing is really hurting me. Can you please stop? Can you change? Can you stop being such a jerk to me? And he could either say yes or no. He said, no, this is who I am. That wasn't who he is. That's not who he is.
Bullshit. That's not who anybody is. Yeah.
No, that's what he was deciding to do.
Sure. Yeah.
Okay. Because he has, there's good in there too. So people, like I said, people can decide to show up and act however they want to act.
Right.
And I was trying. And I was like, okay, what's up? I'm being cool. Why aren't you cool? He wasn't being cool. Okay, I can't change it. So I leave. And I leave. I was able to stay in the neighborhood. I would get a house in the neighborhood. So the kids, kind of like stayed in the same type of environment, right? We lived 4 minutes away. We lived literally in the same neighborhood. So the kids were cool. Not cool, but it was the best that I can do. How's that? Okay.
Sounds good.
So now we get a little. So now I'm like single again. And I'm like done. I'm done. Now I'm done because I did this before. It didn't work out. This is right. So now I am working. I'm making, lots of money. I'm the boss. I'm always the boss. I'm leading, a sales team, 150 people. Like I am just like busy girl. And a couple years go by again. And I was like, nope, not gonna do anything because I had the kids. I was like, oh, we're gonna settle down, we're gonna chill out, we're gonna dive into our new routine.
Yeah.
But when I came back up to breathe again to say I'm gonna go dating again, oh Lordy, I thought it was bad the first time. Worse.
What made it worse? Why was it worse this time?
Because I was older and I wasn't as naive.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you're right. Because if you're naive, you really don't know what you're getting yourself into.
Yeah. So I'm older now and I'm not as naive. And I already been married for 23 years. It's not my first rodeo. And I'm like, okay, I know what I want. And so when I would go and try to date, I still was like, it was actually a little different this time. I remember I never really had this part before. This was different for me. Mm-hmm. I was still attracting, the guys that just want to sleep with me. But you know what I was really attracting almost for the first time? I never had this before. This was weird.
What's that?
Men that didn't really have like a spine. Like they didn't lead. Like men were almost like kind of like wanting me to lead them, wanting me to like, be the boss.
How so? Could you be a little? Could you
yes,
give some examples?
Yeah. So I had men that they would always ask me like, "What do you want to do? What do you want to do?" They never ever lead. They never said, "Hey, listen, can I take you out on a date?"
Yeah, or today we're gonna do this.
Yeah. I love to take you on a date. Would you like to go have sushi? I mean, simple things. It was always like. Oh, and then these men too, which it's a phenomenon because they're called the nice guys, but they're really not the nice guys.
Oh man,
I know. Nice guys, ladies are not nice guys.
Hey, I'm a nice guy. I'm a nice guy for reals.
No, but there's difference. There's difference.
Oh, there is.
Okay. Yeah. There's difference.
They're fake nice guys and real nice guys.
Correct.
So tell us about the fake nice guys.
Yes. So nice guys, the nice guy phenomenon is men that are really not secure with who they are, and men that are looking for a woman to basically be their mother without saying that they want to be the mother. Yes, they don't tell the truth. They don't tell the truth. They're not honest. Mm-hmm. They are chronic people pleasers, and we really all know about people pleasers. People pleasers, you're not actually trying to people please the person. You actually don't have the security to be honest and communicate. Exactly. So it was a actual turnoff for me. It was a real turnoff. Yeah. And because I was like, they wanted me to do all the talking, me to do all the planning, everything was like, oh, good. I'm like, what do you mean good? They didn't have an opinion. I mean, I was like, what the hell? And there was there was no real direction. You know what I mean? There was no real direction for their lives. It was so flowy. And what I found out is they were very, very much in their feminine energy. That's why we talk about energies.
What do you mean by very flowy? Like that there was no direction. What do you mean by that? That they were just
so I'll tell you what I mean by that. They were definitely how I explain it to you. So go with the flow, which is they had no direction for their life. They weren't going to.
You mean like no goals and no
real goals,
aspirations, no passion.
Yes. Okay. Yes, that stuff. Mm-hmm. And for a feminine woman, that wasn't attracted to me because I was like, if something, am I going to be carrying you? What the heck? No, seriously. I thought that they wanted me to carry. I thought like if something happened, I'm going to have to defend the guy too. That's what I was getting. That type of energy.
Yeah.
They were, you know what I mean? They wanted to be more the feminine than the masculine.
Charlene, let me ask you something.
Yeah.
So it had been over 20 years since you came back to the dating scene. I'm wondering if you said you were starting to attract this. Now, I do know about quantum physics and how we attract a lot of the times that we attract who we are at that moment. Mm-hmm. At what point was that also you? Because we are attracting who we are and what we're vibing at. So if you're attracting this type of man at this time of your life, what about yourself did you figure out?
What was going on? Yeah, I'll tell you.
Okay, great.
So I didn't realize then. So when I started dating, when I was back in the day, I had only guys that came to me were like machismo, very strong, very masculine.
Yeah.
Not the healthy masculine. They're like, okay. I was very naive. I was very like a girl, like very little girl.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Like, okay. So they ate me up. Okay. Now, fast forward, I'm older now. I'm in my 40s. Fast forward, and my energy is completely different. My energy was full masculine.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So I was very masculine. So no wonder I was attracting these guys, because I was the boss. I had no idea about energies. I had no idea how I was showing up. So I was showing up very kind of like almost a checklist, like literally like, okay, what's up? So you have this. I didn't have a book and a paper, but I pretty much was like that. I had no idea. So now I went the absolute extreme of how I used to act.
Yeah, you sure did.
Okay? And so now I don't trust men at all, right? Mm-hmm. Now look how much stuff I've had now. You know what I mean? I've already had 2 bad marriages. I'm like, oh, I'm done. So now I have this guard up, and I am not trusting myself. I didn't even know how that was anymore. I was
making sense.
Yeah, I was very up in my head. I was thinking, I was analyzing, I was thinking.
Your walls are up.
100%. I wasn't feeling. I wasn't relaxing. I wasn't actually like bringing an energy of a flow, my real true feminine energy, which is what I'm attracted to, which is the masculine. So it was me.
Yeah, right.
Me.
Totally.
It was totally me. I had no idea. And
how did you realize this?
Well, because I couldn't get a good guy, Leo. I was like, what the hell? I felt like I kept busting their balls. I didn't know. I didn't realize. They're like, lady, you're pretty, but damn, girl, damn, chill out.
But what happened to make you realize, hey, I've got my walls up. I'm more in my head and not in my heart.
I went on a date. I thought I was going on a date. This is so embarrassing. Okay. So I think this guy's asking me on a date. This is so funny. And so we go on this date. It's not a date, but I think it's a full date. Okay. It's not dating me. He's not dating me. He's a pyramid guy just trying to sell me one of those okay.
Okay. You went on a sales date.
I'm on a sales date, but I'm not thinking it's a sales date. I think I'm on a date, okay? And so this is when it all changed for me. So I'm on this date, and I'm thinking I'm on a date. And then this guy starts talking about this shit. I don't even know what it was, like a lotion thing and a pyramid. I was like, you have to buy the lotions and you get the thing. I'm like, what? And I remember I never heard of anything like this. I'm looking at the guy. I'm like, are you trying to sell me something? And he's like, yeah. He was like totally like, yeah. Blah, 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 blah.
Oh, yeah. Right.
And I'm like, I have to ask you a question. And he's like, okay. We're not on a date, right? He's like, no, we're not on a date. And I'm like, oh my gosh.
Yeah. Oh man, that would be a little embarrassing. Yeah.
No, you know what, Leo? I didn't give a shit. I needed to know what the hell was wrong with me. Like seriously, I said, what is up? So I said, are you single? And he's like, yes. Why aren't we on a date?
Wow, you put him in the spot like that, huh?
100%. Well, because he was trying to sell me something, Leo. I was like, why are we on a date? I want to know what because why did I think we are? And you tell me not. And he's like, oh, you definitely don't seem like a woman that wants a date. I'm like, whoa, what? Okay. Yeah. I was like, what? He said, yeah, you're like, I don't remember detail, but I don't even know if he said energy, but he said something like that. Like, you know what I mean? Like the way I was acting or something. Mm-hmm. He's like, yeah. He's like, you're like a guy's guy. I'm like, what? He's like, yeah. He's like, you're a boss. And I'm like, and I asked him, I said, can I really ask you some questions? He said, yeah, absolutely. I said, there's something here because I started talking about it. And I realized right then and there, something was up with me because I've always identified very feminine. Oh my God, I'm so feminine too. You know what I mean? So I'm like, what am I doing? So I hired a coach.
Okay. Wow.
Hell yeah, I did. I got a coach. And at first it was a life coach, and so she really didn't know what to do with me, but she was so awesome. She's like, "You need a I'm going to send you to somebody. You don't need life. You got your life, girl." And she's like, "We're gonna." So that's kind of like the journey, and so they started opening up a whole new world to me, and then I started learning about polarity. And I started learning about masculine and feminine energy, not through them. It's just that work that I did through the coach took me on a journey. You know that. It took me on a whole new world.
I was thinking that right now when you said that.
And so then that's what I started doing. So then I'm like, okay, something's up. Something's up here. And this is why I do what I do. Because after I figured this out and I really was able to figure something out about the energies and the feminine and the masculine. I learned about polarity, and I learned about like why I felt the way I felt, like what was going on. That's a lot of the work I did with my coach and my therapist. I had a therapist too. And so I did
back to therapy.
I did it back to therapy, but this time it was for me. It was totally different. It wasn't like marriage counseling crap. Right. And so then I did that, and I started really discovering stuff. And what I discovered was that the way that I was looking at relationships, the way that I was presenting, had everything to do with what I only knew and the energy that I had already inside me. Mm-hmm. And that already happened since I was a little girl. That was my nervous system. That was my attachment. That's what I was used to. So I get into, attachment styles, but what I realized, it wasn't just that. It was definitely me having to understand what it really was that I was looking for in a partner, and really how I actually wanted to feel, because that's what happened to me. Because I have been chasing a feeling. And the feeling that I wanted was, I wanted to be with someone that I felt safe.
Yeah.
And not just safe physically, safe with my heart, safe mentally, like not someone that was going to be doing what I was doing. I knew that I wanted to feel that the person wanted to pursue me, that really wanted me, wanted to get to know Charlene. And I knew that I wanted to be truly like taken care of, and I could take care of myself. I'm not talking about that. Like someone to really, then I told you that word the other day, someone that like had cariño for me. They want to take care of me. Like I'm his girl. Like, oh, that's my lady. I got her. Yeah. And I wanted, right. And I wanted to feel that with somebody, and that wasn't happening. And when I was in my masculine, there was no way that it was allowing me to step into that, so I can
actually receive that.
Correct, 100%. So that's when the work started, and when I myself was able to do the work on myself, and I was able to figure out my limiting beliefs, I was able to learn about polarity and really how that plays the biggest part in a romantic relationship, and not just why polarity is so important, because if you don't have the polarity, then the romantic relationship can just get into a friendship. And we don't go into romantic relationship for it to just be platonic.
Could you describe what polarity is?
Yeah. So polarity basically, to keep this simple, is if there's opposite, it's just opposite energies, right? So right. if somebody, and we're talking, and today again, we're talking about romance, you guys, we're talking about romance, because I don't teach platonic relationships. I teach romance, spice, like keep it up.
Yeah,
attraction. Because think about that. Because if you're going to get into a relationship, how are we going to keep it going? How are we going to keep it, the yin and the yang, the spice? Yes. Because how do we not allow it to just fizzle?
Right.
That's polarity. So polarity, what happens is you have to understand energies. And to have polarity, you need both energies. You need a feminine energy and a masculine energy, because when you have a feminine and a masculine energy, they are actually drawn to one another. Okay. Yeah. It is just, it's like magnets. It's just
right.
drawn to each other,
Sure is.
because that's the sexuality. That's the sexuality, even and there's polarity even in, I work with
Yeah,
heterosexual.
even with same-sex couples, there's
100%, of
polarities.
course.
Yeah,
Of course, that's what I mean. There's polarity.
yeah,
Because you don't have like when you have there, and there's nothing wrong with feminine energy and masculine. It's all beautiful. But
right,
if you have two people that are both operating in their feminine energies, there's not going to be polarity. We're
right.
going to be friends. And if you have two people that are operating in their masculine energy, we could have great friendships, you'll get along and everything, but
Right.
we're not going to have the sexual attraction.
True.
And that's what relationships are for, too. You have to
Right.
have the attraction, the chemistry. That's polarity. So I learned polarity. And then I learned what I call now, because I did a whole experiment, I teach what I developed something, which I call, it's a very empowering, I call conscious dating.
I love that.
And it was a way for me to date, to truly end up attracting, I'm married now, to attract, that's it, I'm done. Finally, thank you, Jesus. Oh, hallelujah. Ah. So now I'm married to this amazing man, and we have alignment, and we have the polarity. And that was the issue with me all my time, the whole time.
Right.
So now I realize that the work that I'm doing now is really helping people slow things down and understand the process of really what it is to actually get to know another human being. Because what's happening right now is, and I believe this with all my heart, we have to slow down.
Right.
Because if we don't slow down, we actually end up with people that we don't really know, and then their true colors come out later, and then now you're in a relationship with the person, and now you have a whole bunch of other factors.
Charlene, when you say slow down, do you mean being more present? What do you mean by slow down?
So I mean slow down in every aspect. So this is what I teach. So I teach something that I call, yes, first being present, being aware of yourself, being aware of how you're showing up, but really being aware of what it is that you're truly wanting to feel with another human being.
I love that.
Okay. We're not talking because I tell women this. Let me tell you something. Yes, you can have a list. Okay. And
Yeah.
you can have a certain attraction. Like right now, let's say for an example.
But the list doesn't really have any feelings.
Right. So let's say something. So I was always attracted to tall, dark hair men. Okay.
Mhm.
And that's my attraction. I'm not into the blonde. I'm not into blue eyes. I just wasn't like, that's my niche. I like the dark hair. I like the tall, the dark hair. Okay.
Yeah.
And what I realize is when you start understanding what it is that you actually want to feel, ladies, let me say this to you. You're going to end up with a husband that is not going to be your typical, what you would call your attraction. Because what happens is you go by the feeling, you go by how you feel with that person. And usually ladies, like my husband now, he's blue eye, blonde.
Opposite of what you were looking at, right? Because you weren't really focused on feelings before when women.
You have to like, yeah, you have to, obviously, you have to have attraction to the person. He's a good, you know what I mean? You have to have attraction. But it was way more than the external for me. It was the internal feeling that I was getting by him. So my husband's very masculine, but he's a healthy masculine. So he presented very sexy to me. Mm. And even though he was a good looking man, but initially that would not be my like, oh, I like that one. No, I was so more open to not having a type is what I'm trying to say.
Yes.
Be open, slow down. So now
I like that. So slowing down, so it means to be open. That's one of the ways slowing down.
Yes.
Be present, be aware.
Yes.
Okay.
And what I teach before I teach anything else, I teach what I call the relationship attachment method. And why I teach this is because, let me say something, everyone. It actually takes time to get to know somebody. It really actually does.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't allow, not that I don't allow, I teach a process so people can really get to know who that person is. Can I get into this real quick?
Yes, of course.
Okay, cool. So when you first meet someone, right? When we first meet someone, we have a tendency, what I call is that we have what we call like this picture frame of who we think that person is. So we meet someone for the very first time. We have this picture frame of who we think that person is. And that's usually based on the way they look, their mannerism, the way they talk, or things that remind you of somebody else. So let's say you're a lady and you're going out on a date with the guy. And the guy comes up and you're talking to this guy. And all of a sudden, you already, just based on how he's showing up, based on his clothes, based on his mannerism, you already have this picture frame of who you think he is. You're like, oh, he's those types, or he's this type, whatever the fuck you think he is, right? Excuse my language, whatever you think it is. Okay. So now you're having a conversation with that person. Now, all of a sudden, let's say for an example, that person like has a little bit of a sense of humor, como tu papa, like your dad. So now you're going to be like, oh,
he's like my dad.
He's like my dad. And let's say your dad's amazing. Like, really, right? He's like my dad. Yeah. Let's say your dad's amazing. So now you're already getting this comfort.
This idea. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. You're getting this comfort. You're getting this idea like, oh, okay, este tipo, he's a good person. He's like my dad. Okay. So let me fast forward here. This is what happens. You meet someone for the very first time. There's a story I'm going to tell you here. Okay. So there was this lady, single lady. She goes to a party. So she's at this party. Her girlfriend invites her over to a party. She's at the party. Everything's great. Everything's fine. So she's looking around. So she sees this like really good looking man at the party. So she's like, holy hell, that guy's good looking. She asked somebody about who that guy is. And then her girlfriend's like, oh, he's single. And she's like, are you kidding me? Oh my God. I'm saying, oh my God. Okay. So for some reason they get to talking, her and this guy. Okay, you just meet someone, it's very casual, right? This is how it works, this is how it starts. So now they're talking, they're getting to know each other, blah, blah, blah. So they're asking each other questions. The guy has a great personality. He's already reminding her of like, oh, he reminds me of somebody, like a good personality. He has a good sense of humor. He's very talkative, very engaging. So she's having this great time with him. She's feeling way more comfortable just by his mannerism, just how he's acting. So then she asked the guy, she said, what do you do for a living? They're asking each other. So the guy says, oh, I'm a pediatrician. So all of a sudden in her mind, she's like, a pediatrician? Oh, he must love kids. Oh my gosh. Oh my God. This is a good man. He loves children. Oh, you know what I mean? So but she's already assuming, right? Of course. Right. She's already assuming everything's great. Okay. So all of a sudden, they're really getting a little hot and heavy there. Like, oh, it's another in the backyard and they're making out. Okay. She's making out with this guy. She's like, shit, this guy's a pediatrician. He's good looking. He's at my friend's party. I know. I already know.
Yeah. She's already having these ideas and she's already chasing that idea too.
Of course. Okay. So this is what people do. I'm telling you right now. This is a very typical story. Okay.
Right.
So now we're like, kind of like, okay, you want to go out? Yeah. Okay, cool. Now we're kind of dating a little bit. Right. But remember, she's dating the traditional, the old way, which I teach women not to do this. She's just dating him now. Okay. She don't know him. She just met him at a party. Mm-hmm. So now she's like, I'm going to get to know him. Okay. You don't know him. We're not committed yet. Okay. But she's already acting. I'm just gonna get to know him. Okay. So now she's like dating him. And he's very friendly and very, she's feeling trustworthy with him. So she sleeps with him really quick. Okay. She cheats him. So let's not do that either. And I'll tell you why. Oh my goodness. As a grown-ass person, listen, I'm telling you something right now. As a grown-ass human being, you could do whatever the hell you want. There's no wrong or right. There's no rules. There's actually no rules.
Right, exactly.
But if you really want to get to know someone and you don't want to end up with the jerks, seriously, or the people that flip on you, that is such an important thing to slow down to actually know them. Now, if you actually don't give a shit and you're like, I don't care, I just want to have sex, then do it. But I want to tell women something. I want to say this.
Say it.
Just because you have sex with a man doesn't mean you're in a committed relationship, mama. Just mean you had sex. You're actually not in a committed relationship until he says, will you be my girlfriend or will you be exclusive with me? And then you have an opportunity to say yes or no. But until then, let me make this very clear. A man can have sex with a woman and not be in a committed relationship. A woman and men have different hormones and different things that happen to us. And so when a woman has sex with a man, She's already forming a different bond than a man does when he has sex with a woman. And this is why I'm teaching what I'm teaching, because when you have sex with a man that you don't know, you are already going to be fighting against what I call your hormones. So you release oxytocin, which helps and really shrinks your critical thinking. Okay. So when we're falling, when we have sex, women, we bond. It's the same type of bonding that you have when you have a baby.
Oh, beautiful.
You release this bond to get close to your baby. When you have sexual intercourse with someone, a female, the way that we are, we bond. And if we're bonding with men that are not good, that's not a good thing. Right. So we have to slow down. So what I teach is we first have to get to know a person. And there's a process in getting to know a person.
Yeah, I was going to ask you, how does someone get to know someone?
So when you get to know someone, the only way that you actually get to know somebody is time. Mm-hmm. And time will show you who they are. Because when you're showing up in the beginning, that guy can say anything he wants, right? Anybody, right. A girl can say anything. You could present to me anybody you want. But how do we know this is true? How do we know you really are who you're saying you are? So when you give it time, what I say is how you get to know someone, you have to give it some time. And you actually have to get around their people. You actually have to get around people that know them. Right. And see how they interact with their people. See if the words that they're saying, how they are, really match their actual actions. Because if you're with someone and they're saying, oh, I'm very nice, I'm very patient, but then you're at lunch with them and they just ate up the freaking waitress, well, they're shit. Right. Let me say something right now. If you're with a guy and you're dating a guy and he has no patience with the wait staff or anything like that, stop dating him immediately. I'm actually serious.
I agree. I totally agree with
that's already a sign. So this is what you do. So that's how you get to know someone. You slow down. You actually meet them in different scenarios and you meet their people. So you can see if their words are actually matching their actions over time. Because that's how you know who somebody is how they're showing up for you, how they're acting, and how they are with other people. So that's get to know. Then trust. Mm-hmm. So first we got to get to know someone. When you get to know someone, then we can trust them, right? Because we're like, okay, so how do we trust them? You start slowly but surely trusting, seeing if they keep their word. That's how you start with the word. After you trust them, then you can start relying on someone. Right. You got to know them first. Then we got to trust them. Now you're like, okay, I'm trusting you. You're keeping your word. Okay, you're keeping your word. Okay. Now we can start relying on someone. When you start relying on someone and you realize, okay, we got something here. We can rely on each other. We keep our words. We're cool. Then we commit. Then we touch.
Oh, I love that.
So I tell women all the time, you are the prize. You really are, from the bottom of my heart. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is a man will pursue you. A man that's in his masculine, he will pursue you. Okay. And it won't be wishy-washy. It won't be you have to pursue him. It doesn't work this way. The man will pursue you. And when the man pursues you, a woman is the one that sets the pace. Okay? The man will pursue, the woman sets the pace. It is truly the sexiest thing as the dance.
Yeah.
People are not allowing the dance anymore. People are not allowing the process of true courtship. True courtship is when you have the dance. It's a little bit of here and a little bit of you know what I mean? That's the sexiness. That's not, you don't just be like, hi.
Yeah. Right.
What's that? Uh-huh. And then you end up, then you end up in relationship. You're like, I'm not happy. This is not good. This guy's a jerk, or this lady's not nice, or what is this or that? So when you take your time And you slow this down. And there's other things that we do. Okay. I'm just getting some basic stuff right now.
Yeah. Okay.
When you take your time, you slow down, you actually don't end up committing to a jerk. And let me say something. Men and women, there's jerkettes and there's jerks. Men and women both can be jerks. This is not gender. You can be a man and be a jerk, and you can be a woman and be a jerk. So if you don't want to end up with one of those jerks,
right,
slow down.
What if a woman pursues the man first because the man doesn't know that she's interested, and then he ends up taking the role of a man, and she ends up kind of playing or being just a little harder and more distant afterwards?
Well, usually, like I said, the women that I'm working with, it doesn't work when they pursue. Because if you're pursuing the man, you have to know that the man already knows what he wants. So if a man wants you, mama, he's going to pursue you. There's not going to be any problems here. If the man is not pursuing you, then either he doesn't want you, or if he wants you, then he doesn't have the confidence enough in himself to pursue you. Because if a man is not going for what he wants, then you're going to end up having pretty much to be the one that's also in your masculine energy. So I think this is where the masculine and the feminine energy play a part in polarity.
I guess I'm going to call myself out right here. And the reason why I'm asking that was because, so I was single for 8.5 years, long ass time. And when I mean 8.5 years, Charlene, I mean, I didn't even kiss a girl and I didn't have sex. I mean,
you were like single. Yeah. You're like
single. Okay. And so being that single, I mean, I had health issues. I even lost my voice for 2.5 years. So I mean, how was I going to date without even having a voice?
Yeah, you can't.
A lot of stuff I learned sign language. I really didn't know what my health, or even if I was going to live, survive this. Right. But when I finally started thriving and started coming into fulfillment with who I am and loving myself and realizing that somebody can find me and somebody will find my light, she found me. It's like she found my light and she pursued me. And then what I mean by that is she kind of started messaging me and I was still oblivious, because after 8.5 years, you're going to be a little oblivious.
Yes.
But what I see now is like, now that she's willed me in and I'm in there 100%, you know, my heart is open. A lot of the times I feel like I'm the one chasing rather than receiving. So like, what's going on with the polarity at this point? And what am I supposed to do? Like, just stop the chasing? And I really don't know what to do. You know, I don't even know. Am I even chasing? What am I doing?
You're like, I'm even chasing. Well, think about that. Look, okay, slow that down. Yeah. Look at how it started in the beginning.
Okay.
Right? So you just said to me that she pursued you.
Yeah.
Right?
I would say.
And so she pursued you, and then now you're telling me that she pursued you, but she shifted her energy on you?
That's how it feels a lot of the times, yeah.
So she pursued you, and now she's like not pursuing you anymore. She wants you to pursue her?
I'm not sure, because a lot of the times when I'm inviting myself or trying to get closer and closer, and I'm not saying all the time, but I'll say a good, maybe about 50% of the time, half of the time, I feel I get this, you know? So it's like, well, it's like 50-50.
It's like 50-50. Yeah. So this is what I would say to you. So it really is finding out, like, really what energy is she actually resonating in? Like, seriously, I want you to think about this. Like, what energy is she resonating? Because if she's actually resonating in her feminine energy, then she absolutely wants you to pursue her, but not ask questions. I'm going to tell you this right now. I'm going to say it again. If I don't know what energy she's resonating in, because she could be in her masculine. Okay. If she's in her feminine, I want you to ask. If she's truly in her feminine energy, a woman that, let me explain this to you. Yeah. So a woman that is in their feminine energy, they are very attracted to the man who leads. It's not about control. Right? Nobody wants anybody to control nobody. No, you can't control anybody. We're not talking about control. That's not cool. Okay. No, and no one wants to be, nobody wants to be controlled. Okay.
Okay.
We're talking lead, not control. So a lot of times when women are in relationships, so let me give you a relationship thing. So I work with women that are already married. and they need to shift the energy. So the energy, when they first got together, the energy was correct. She was more in her feminine, he was more in his masculine. Through the years, she became the boss, so she became more the masculine. And a man, if the man's in a masculine energy, and a woman dominates the masculine energy, let me tell you what a masculine man will do. He will drop down. Because a masculine man's main thing is peace. Okay, I'm serious. He's just like, I'm done. I'm done. He ain't gonna fight another masculine. I'm out.
That makes sense.
Okay, so what happens is, so in relationships, you have these romantic relationships, and people are together, and so the energy shifts. And so the woman says to me, she'll say, "Oh, Charlene, no.
So energies can be shifting at any time of the relationship.
You could 100%. My energy shifts, So I know when I'm more in my masculine energy, my husband's like, "Oh, I'm not attracted to her right now." No, no, because it's not attracted to him.
Yeah,
right. He's cool with it because I own my own company. I'm very busy, and believe it or not, we work together. So we have this company together. So so the energies are all kind of crazy sometimes. But what I'm saying is, so what happens is, so a lady will be like, "Charlene, he never makes decisions. He doesn't talk." They always, I get this. He doesn't talk. He just shuts down, right? And I have to do it all. I have to make all the decisions. I have to do all the freaking talking. No. And I said, so we need to shift energy. And I always give them a little example. I said, we need to shift energy. She said, no, he doesn't lead. He doesn't do anything. I said, you're not letting him. You're controlling too much. Chill out. Relax. Gotta relax a little. Let's relax. Okay. So this is what I say to women. I said, so let's start shifting the energy. We need to be aware how you're showing up for him. How are you acting?
Yeah.
Are you busting his balls? Are you seriously like just quiet? It's too much. Or what is going on with you? So I always say this. I said, so let's start here. Let's start really small. When your man comes to you and he's like, "Baby," give you an example. He's always asking me questions. That she says, okay, so when he comes to you, "Baby, where we going out for dinner tonight?" This is what you do. Watch this. "Baby, you always pick great places. You know what? I know you got this. Let me know where you want to go for dinner tonight, and I'll be ready. No problem." Put it back on him. What women do, they just try to control. When they're in their masculine energy, they're like, "Oh, okay, we're going to do them. We're going to." So the guy doesn't even have a chance to step into his masculine, to be honest with you, because she's already so masculine, so already what I also call not just masculine. I have a whole thing. I call it mother energy. So I have archetypes. I developed these archetypes. I developed an archetype, which is mother energy, daughter energy, and woman energy.
Yeah.
But a lot of times she's in this masculine energy. And when a woman starts shifting, and what the shift is slowing down, letting go, relaxing, chilling, receiving, allows the masculine to step up. So I'm not sure what energy your lady's in, okay? And I'm just telling you right now. But I know if she's in her feminine energy, she's wanting you to, and I don't know you are or not, I'm just giving you an example, but she's wanting you to step up, not in a controlling way, but not in an asking way, more in a masculine.
I love that. It's beautiful.
Yes, it's awesome. And women and men, and this is totally fine. This is the beauty of women and men. We are different. We're different. We need different things.
Yeah.
We absolutely need different things. And we absolutely think differently. And we absolutely receive differently. And that's beautiful. And that's what makes things special and intimacy and romantic, because we can give each other all those little things, that just make it so much more special, because we don't go in a relationship and not make it special. Right. And not get all those feelings, oh my God, my husband does this for me. My wife, but really, because do for each other, help each other with your needs and your wants, right. and slow this down and really step into those energies.
I love that. So if I'm understanding this correctly, the polarities, they're basically the shifting of energy. So there's going to be times where she feels like the masculine, and I'm gonna have the feminine role, and it's gonna be okay. That's okay to let her be masculine and almost surrender to that other polarity, because then there's times where I'm gonna be masculine and she's gonna be the feminine energy, and that's how the magnet works. So allow whatever energy she's in to flow, and then I'm basically gonna be attracting that opposite energy naturally if I allow that part of her energy to flow, and then also. If she
the yin and the yang to flow.
Yeah, she's to allow
it's just a flow.
Right.
Like it's water. A flow. Yeah. And it really, it's an awareness, right? It's aware of your partner. That's just something that I don't think people really do. No, I don't think they're actually aware of their partner. Because slow down. Yeah. When you slow down, you can see, you could be aware, you hear differently.
So when her energy is like, well, I'm busy, I got to do this, I got to do that. I'll see you on the weekend. I'll see you 8 days from now or whatever, so then that's her masculine.
That's her masculine. But if she's in that energy and you're like, you want to see your girl, you definitely need to say, okay, baby, but listen, I want to see you before 8 days. Mm-hmm. You have to tell her, because if she's in her masculine, she's trying to run the show. Yeah. And you're like, I'm in my masculine too, girl. You know what I mean? Like, seriously. And so if she's too much in her masculine but you're not getting your needs met, then that energy is not going to work. So that's where the communication comes. This is where we have to get other things in line here. Yeah. Because remember I told you earlier, no one can read each other's minds.
So true.
So and really, again, it comes down to really finding out what each other want to feel with each other. What are we needing with each other?
I love that. So basically, what do you want to feel?
How do you want to feel? What is it? What is it that you want to feel with me? So my husband can ask me that question, and I always tell him, I say, baby, I love how you I feel very secure with you. I feel very safe with you. I feel, you have a lot of, you're so sexy. I love that sexiness part of you. I tell my husband, I love, how he chases me, how he, keeps things spicy with me, how he literally slaps my ass, how he, I tell you all the things. We talk, we communicate, we let him, I'm really in tune with him and he's in tune with me.
What if a woman doesn't know how to communicate that? What if she doesn't even know how to think that way?
Well, that's why we got to do some work.
Right.
That's why we got to do some work, because relationships, you guys, relationships take awareness every single day. It's not like something you put on a shelf. It's not, on Sunday, we're going to do relationships. You know what I'm saying? Like, no. Let me tell you, when we do relationships, Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday.
Right. Yes.
There's no off day, dude. There's just no off day, you guys. Like, if you're in a relationship, if you're in a romantic relationship, we have to be literally every single day communicating, seriously, connecting every day, you guys, every day. Yes. What's the point?
Right. I love how you said that. Every day communicating, connecting.
Every day
connecting is really important. Yeah.
Listen, let me tell you about connecting. Yeah. Oh my gosh, my poor husband, pobrecito, because he's not a very big talker. And I'm the opposite of that. But I need him to talk to me. And I need 2 connections a day, which is crazy. It's a lot. So in the morning, we have these routines, because I have to get, so I have ADD on crack. So connecting to me is just like, kind of like just talking about the things that are on my mind, getting things. I mean, there's no right or wrong. Like our connection this morning, it was bizarre. I went from, oh my God, what's going on with Nathaniel? I haven't heard from Nathaniel a long time. Do you think that we're going to do good on the show? Did you ever pay that one person? I just talking. That's really like checking in with that. There's different kinds of connection, but I'm talking really slowing down and just you two as a couple, just like, what's going on with you? What's in your head? What are the thoughts that are racing? And I always have all these things, right? We all have stuff, right?
Yeah.
You know, and this is connecting too. You know what, baby? I was at the grocery store and this lady looked at me really weird and it felt really weird. Oh, babe, that was nothing. Don't worry about it. You know what I mean? Like, that's like, I'm very honest. I'm very open. I just really allow vulnerability.
That's beautiful, Charlene.
You have to.
Charlene, I have a question. Oh, go ahead.
Yes. Oh,
what is the most common? What's that?
He's learned because of me. He's never been a person to talk like that. And it's so funny. Now he gets it. But I would be like, I would share and I would literally go like this, your turn. And he'd be like, Pobrecito. He was like, he didn't know what to do at first. He was just like, I was at work today. I'm like, what happened? Well, this guy came in that we weren't used to. And he was like, this guy from we didn't know what happened. You know what I mean? I'm all into it. He's like, damn, girl. I'm like, because I want to know about his life. I want to connect. I mean, really, that's so important. And now he loves it. Now he knows.
Sure, I'm sure he does. I would love it too.
But in a relationship, because I don't know about you, but I have all these things in my head sometimes,
Absolutely. All the time. Yeah.
All the time. And I like to bounce off my man. I'm like, baby, yo estoy loca. He said, yeah, you're crazy. It's all good. Okay. You know what I mean? I love to just connect. So that's one thing. Another thing that we do in the evenings is we do like a debrief. Baby, how was your day? How good was your day? What do you got going on tomorrow? You know what I mean? Like, what, tell me something good that happened to you today. Did something bad happen? Because we do the morning, but then the day goes. So now we're back again in the evening. We're like, hey, what's up? We're connecting again.
I love this.
And it really keeps us in flow. It really keeps us connecting. It keeps us not going like this.
Mm-hmm.
Because relationships, you guys, look at this. Oh, that's the relationship. This is a relationship. This is not relationship. No. That's single. Yeah. That's single. Be single. Okay? No. You want a relationship? It goes like this. It's two. Together.
Charlene, what do you find the most complicated, the most difficult, the most challenging in being a relationship coach?
People don't want to look under the hood. They want to blame. People think it's the other person. Mm-hmm. People think it's, they can't see what they can't see sometimes. Mm-hmm. That's why people need to get coaching, therapy, counseling, because you can't see your blind spots. And you just can't. You actually need a professional to ask you questions, to talk to you. And you'll be like, holy moly, I never saw it like that. I didn't know I was doing that. Okay.
Yeah.
And that's been the biggest challenge, is because it's really hard to like tell someone that before you do the work, because usually a lot of people, they come to me already with, truly believing, there's not bad people. I understand this. Truly believing it's the other person. No, you don't understand. This guy was a narcissist. He was this, he was that, he did this. And they did experience all that kind of stuff. But there's a reason why they were with those type of people.
Sure.
So that's the hardest thing. And so that's been the most amazing thing about my work, because I actually help people for the first time in their lives get a real understanding of who they are and why they are the way they are and why they believe the way they believe and what happened to them. And so for the first time, they go through this transformation because they get to be with someone that knows what they're doing, that knows how to work this through, so they don't have to feel bad. They don't, it's gentle trauma release is what I work with. And we gently get that out. And when we gently get that out in the way that I do it, it's actually quicker than people think. You don't need years of therapy at all. We don't go so deep, and it actually helps you move forward in your life with a new perspective. It's beautiful. So when you always hear someone say, do the work, let me say it again, do the work. Every human being has work to do. That's legit. That's just keeping it real, man. I mean, come on. Why do you think though? You think he's not going to do the work? We all have to do something, because we all have life. We all grow up.
Absolutely. Charlene Byars, everybody, incredible energy. I wish we could keep talking. I feel like I could keep talking to you for hours and hours. This has been really amazing. I'm feeling pumped up about improving myself and my communication skills and understanding the polarity, not just in my relationship with my girlfriend, but also with people around me. And I feel that knowing this about myself and the polarities between people in general is going to help me improve my relationships with everybody around me. Thanks so much for being on the Little Less Fear podcast. how can our viewers or watchers or listeners find you if they need you?
Oh, yes. I'm all over. I'm definitely, you can start by my website, which is, www.charlenebyars, BYARS.com. And if you are a single successful woman and you're like, you know what, girl, I'm ready. I'm listening to you, Charlene. I do want to find, my soul line partner. I have lots of free resources. And I have right now, you can go on my website and you can get a 45-minute masterclass that I swear everything that we talked about today will give you tools and things that you can actually apply in your life right now. It's a how to attract a devoted masculine man in 30 days or less. And I also have just free resources that you can go. I have a ebook that is called The Magnetic Woman, How to Find the True Love of Your Life. And it's a very powerful, short thing to do. We didn't really get to, talk about feminine embodiment and all that stuff and really take care of yourself and attract some good energy. And I'm all over social, hun. I'm all over. I'm MS Charlene Byars. I do a lot of fun. I do a lot of reels. I keep it spicy and fun. And I like to provide a lot of content for people.
Charlene Byars, everyone, thank you for making it spicy on the Little Less Fear podcast. I super duper appreciate all of your energy, all of your wisdom, and all of the love and the passion that you have with everything that you do. Thank you so much for uplifting the world, for uplifting women, relationships, and yourself. Thank you so much.
Oh, you're amazing. Thank you so much, Lino. Thank you for having me.
Absolutely a pleasure.